So as I was there live, I didn't take notes for this show, so this could be a little bit shambolic or everything, because we know how that goes. But what I did want to get across, and I wanted to make sure that I talked about, was during, just coming back from the intermission, Simon Miller was doing some shout outs, and he shouted out Charlie C. I won't use the lad's full name because I don't know if he wants his full name out there, but basically he is doing a big charity zipline on WrestleMania weekend for Maggie's Hospices, sort of helping doing a big charity fundraiser. We got to cut a really cool sort of impassioned promo. It was really heartfelt and really cool. So this is available on Progress Wrestling socials if you want to go check it out, and I think it's really nice. That was the one thing I really wanted to make sure that I talked about, because that's the important stuff right there in this crazy old world, is people doing good things. So go support the guy, and yeah, thank you. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about Progress Wrestling Chapter 173, Stay Young and Invincible, the Manchester show to wrap up my live wrestling experience of 2024. I think this is the last one. Companies, don't go announcing anymore because it's nearly Christmas and I've got to buy people presents. So, what do we think of the show? Was it good? Was it bad? Let's dive into that in just a moment, but please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below if you were there, and I'll try and reply to every single one of them as we dive into this. So Stay Young and Invincible, I thought was pretty banging. It wasn't the best Progress show that I've ever been to, I can openly admit that, but it has had two of my favourite matches of the year. The main event between the Young Guns and Boisterous Behaviour was goddamn fantastic, and Cara Noir versus Charlie Evans was exceptional stuff. It is two of my favourite matches that I've seen live, two of my favourite matches that I've seen all year. I loved everything that was put into them. The other matches on the show I thought were really, really good. Nothing to write home about. I'm not going to complain about them that much because they were still to an exceptional standard. But yeah, I just think this was a solid show. This was absolutely solid, capped off with two banging matches to sort of close out each interval. So before we sort of get going, my voice is going. The other night, Saturday night, I was doing karaoke and I had to do Meatloaf, Anything for Love. And that's a little bit out of my range. And I think I've given myself some sort of vocal thing. So there might be a lot of cuts in this video while I take sips of water because it hurts a little bit. But let's dive into the show, every match, every angle, everything that happened. And yeah, the way a review works. Starting with the new Proteus champion, Simon Miller, on hosting duties. And he did a fantastic job. An absolutely fantastic job. He's so goddamn likeable, he's so fun, and he started off the show well. He teased he was going to say what his stipulation would be for the Proteus Championship, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But the matches started off with the big Progress Wrestling Tag Team title match between Subculture and the Smokin Aces. This was really good. This was really, really good. I love seeing Subculture wrestle live. I think I've seen them wrestle live once on the... Where have I seen them wrestle live? I'm sure I have. It'll be above my face because I've definitely seen them wrestle live at some point. I'm sure of it. But seeing them in a Progress ring, seeing them trying to capture, Flash Morgan Webster trying to capture that Progress gold from the Smokin Aces, who are just fantastic heels. Nick Riley and Charlie Sterling are just fantastic heels. They are so unbelievably good at what they do. And this worked really, really well in just a babyface team versus a heel team. Like, you've got the heat, you've got the spots, you've got the comedy. It had everything you sort of wanted out of it. But but I feel like it left a little bit in the tank. I wonder if we're going to get a Subculture match down the line, because the finish of this match, Subculture would get in the upper hand, and it was a crafty little shot from, I believe, Nick Riley, who kicked the referee into the ropes, which caused Mark Andrews to fall down, and yeah, we got the win for the Smokin Aces. It looked like Subculture were going to pick up the win. They had a really good flurry of offense. It was built really nicely, like it really nicely. But yeah, Smokin Aces picking up the win. I think we're going to get a real match down the line, because I do think these teams have more in the tank. I'm not ready for the Smokin Aces reign to be over, but I would like it to be Subculture who eventually dethrones them. I think that's quite interesting. Overall, this was a really solid way to kick off the show. And yeah, excited to see where we go from here. Then we got something that I hadn't really experienced, and I suppose Progress are probably doing this more. We had sort of like the intercut storytelling. We had the Tron. The Tron was used, and it showed a funny promo of G Money, Session Moth Martina, and Will Cruz beating down LA Taylor. Means Sky Smithson has not got a partner for her match against Moth Dog. And yeah, it was done quite a few times in the night. It was done with Connor Mills as well. I really like it. Because particularly with this show, the stories interwove really well into the matches. And I thought it was, yeah, that was really well done. Really well done. Nice use of video packages. And then we got a very surprising match as Miles Kamen took on Connor Mills. This was really good. It wasn't like mind-blowing, but I love watching Connor Mills wrestle. I think he's so unbelievably talented, and I'm not used to seeing him as the babyface, because I'm pretty sure last time I saw Miles Kamen, he was a face. So when he came out as like the golden boy and was sort of ragging on the crowd, everyone was saying he sucked. I was like, oh, okay, we're getting babyface Connor Mills. I think that's quite interesting, because I've never really seen that from Connor Mills. But him coming back as a fighting babyface and doing his kicks, doing his submissions and everything like that, I was like, okay, I'm on board for a Connor Mills babyface, and this is a really good way to sort of rise him up and maybe put him in contendership for the Progress men's title. But I think an outcome that nobody in the room expected, Miles Kamen picked up the win. He hit like a sit-out pedigree. I think it's called Angel's Wings, the Christopher Daniels move kind of thing, and pinned him clean, pinned Connor Mills. I was like, oh, okay. Was not expecting that. And then Connor Mills sort of dejected, goes to the back, and Miles Kamen cuts a really good promo saying about how he's arrived in Progress Wrestling. And I'm like, okay, they clearly believe a lot in Miles Kamen, and I think that he has the look, he has the in-ring ability, I think he has the promo skills from what I've seen. I think he has every single tool in the shed to sort of really rocket himself up to the top of the card, and I'm excited to see where he goes from here. I'm even more excited to see where Connor Mills goes from here. I think this was a really solid match with a really great angle that paid off later down the line, and I was super happy with it. Then we got the payoff to the LA Taylor attack as Moth Dog, Gene Money, and Session Moth Martina took on Sky Smithson and her mystery partner. Who's it going to be? Does she have friends in Manchester? Apparently so, because it was Sam Bailey. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I know who Sam Bailey is, because I'm sorry, I don't. That being said, Sam Bailey made one hell of an impression to me, because my God, he's good. He's so good. Like, some of his moves, I was like, what is this? He did like a springboard. I think he did like just an insane load of headbutts. He just did an insane load of headbutts, and it was really cool. Like, he just worked so well with Session Moth Martina as well, and the way that this was just worked, in that you mainly had Sam Bailey and Session Moth going at one another, and Sky and Gene going at one another. I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is a very nice wrinkle on this. And Session Moth and Gene Money are just so funny together. Will Cruz is like, just the way he was, because he was positioned right in front of us, the way he was jaw-jacking to the crowd was so funny. Like, I just think this act of Moth Dog is so funny. Like, their one-liners just crack me up and kill me every time. And I thought it was really good. Like, I very much enjoyed this. And yeah, it built to a point where LA Taylor ran down. I think we all knew that was going to happen. She sort of took out Will Cruz. But still, Gene Money and Session Moth picked up the win by pinning Sam Bailey. Interesting, particularly with what comes later down the line. I think it's really cool that they're getting this sort of push, because I do think they are one of the most enjoyable acts in Progress right now. They're so funny and so unbelievably talented. And I'm intrigued to see where the experience go from here, because whether there's a breakup in future, if they're still going to, it doesn't look like they're going to be feuding with Moth Dog anymore. So I'm intrigued to see where they go from here, because I do think Sky and LA Taylor are definitely like ready-made challengers for Rio. I think they'd be really, really good to go in a feud with Rio. So yeah, we'll see where that goes from here. I want to see more of Sam Bailey. This was super, super fun. Then we got my second favourite match of the night. I'm so torn between this and the main event. It was Cara Noir versus Charlie Evans. This was, I don't know what I was expecting going into this, because I've never seen a Charlie Evans match. This was my first Charlie Evans match that I've ever seen live or on a show. And I didn't know what type of style she was. I didn't know what would happen. Would this be a typical sort of intergender affair? But what I really loved about this match, and this is where it's going to get sort of like pretentious and me just like analysing film studies brain, just analysing the way this story was told. Like, I loved that this wasn't really played up as an intergender match. The way I saw this match playing out was, this was a match of equals. This was a match of equality. These two, there was no sort of spot where she tried to lift up Cara Noir and really struggled, because she's being portrayed that way. She's being portrayed as not inferior, but weaker. I mean, that sometimes can be used in like intergender storytelling. No, this was a match of equals, and this was a wrestling match of equals, and I absolutely loved that it was told that way. Following on from that, I loved that there was just story throughout the match in terms of wrestling storytelling, mainly Charlie Evans going after the injured foot of Cara Noir, and I love that he's using that as like a character piece, that everyone can just target that. That is his weak spot. You had spots where she would stamp on his foot, get him in the ankle lock. I loved all of that stuff, and I thought it was really, really well done. Like, the action was awesome. Really hard hitting strikes. When Cara eventually leaned back and just clocked Charlie Evans, I was like, okay, we're on. And then you had an awesome spot where she's sitting in the corner and just goading him on, like, come on, you can do this. And then Cara just goes in and just clocks her a few times in the face. And I was like, this is awesome. This is absolutely incredible stuff. And it led to a perfect finish of this match, where Charlie has the ankle lock locked in, and Cara like rolls through and manages to pick her up into a package pile driver for the 1, 2, 3. This was, the more I'm thinking about it, the more this might have been my favourite match of the night. It's tough, but in terms of my expectations and this exceeding my expectations, this massively exceeded my expectations and became one of my favourite matches of the year. It's my favourite match Cara's had since he's come back, and one of my favourite matches that I've seen live. I absolutely loved this match, and I will keep talking about it for the rest of the year. So enjoy, people. Go check out this match. We had a brief video package of, I'm going to be honest, until I got home, I didn't know who this guy was, but it was Connor Mills, a very dejected Connor Mills who feels like he's at the bottom after taking that loss to Miles Kamen. And he's sort of embraced, spurred on by Nico Angelo. Now, Nico Angelo, I know of by name. I've never seen his matches, but he looks cool. He's got very cool hair that I wish I had. And he sort of bodes Connor to become the killer again. And I thought that was very interesting stuff from that. Then we had Simon Miller unveil his stipulation, and that is that the people would choose his stipulation every time. And I think that's an interesting route to go with this. So basically the way he put it was, there's going to be an internet poll, and before any of his matches, people will vote on what type of match they want, and they will get that match. Interesting. Well, apparently it's like this is no Cyber Sunday where you know what happened there. This is going to be legit. This is going to be legit people voting. And I was like, that's an interesting stipulation. I can't wait to see where we go from here, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. And then we had the tag team match between Lycos Jim and True and Lacey. This was really, really good. Really, really good. I love Lycos Jim. They're so unbelievably talented. And True and Lacey, since they had their match at the Noah Tour, I've been like, these guys need to be pushed to the moon because they are so, so good. And they are so good. They're really good heels. They're really good, cocky, arrogant heels. And the way they played off the crowd, I thought was really, really interesting. Like, the dynamic that they had there was good. Everyone was fully into Lycos here. And yeah, Lycos did win. There was some really cool spots in here. Really good flurries, like hot tags in this match. And particularly, I love a Spanish fly. And Lycos 2 doing his Spanish fly always looks amazing. But yes, Lycos Jim picked up the win. Of course they did, because, you know, it's Lycos Jim. But the more interesting thing happened after the match, because as they're celebrating in the ring, Connor Mills from earlier walks out and sort of stares them down. Is he going to attack? Is he not? Nico Angelo runs down and starts to beat down, and they just batter Lycos Jim after the match. Absolutely destroy him. Lycos is in an ankle lock, and then Nico Angelo hits this really cool like power bomb into like a fisherman's buster. It looked awesome, looked really sick. And clearly we have a new tag team in the tag team ranks. This tag team division is stacked. You've got True and Lacey, Sanity, Sunshine Machine, Lycos Jim, Subculture, Smokin Aces. It's absolutely stacked. Like, they have one of the best tag team divisions on the planet right now. And I can't wait to see where we go from here. I think this is going to be really, really cool. I'd love to see a tag team tournament, maybe. I think that would be really interesting. Like, tag team wrestling, particularly on this show, particularly in this goddamn main event as well. Like, yeah, tag team wrestling is, yeah, it's awesome in progress. Earlier in the night, we did have a video package from Lana Austin, who said she doesn't want to return in Manchester because she thinks it's shit. And basically, she'll be returning at Vendetta, but she hasn't got a match yet. Someone's going to get a golden ticket, and who is that going to be to face Lana Austin? And we found out who that was in the next match, because the next match was Emerson Jane versus Natalie Sykes. This match, I would probably say, I feel like just needed more time. Like, I love Emerson Jane. She's so unbelievably good. Like, the athleticism that she shows is awesome. Like, it's so, so cool. I just feel like this needed a little bit more time, because it only went about 4 minutes and was mainly about sort of the angle that came after. Natalie Sykes, really, really cool. She's got an awesome entrance theme. Awesome, like, really, really cool entrance theme. And I love the 21st Century Liability. I think that's a really cool nickname as well. I just wish they had more time. I wish they had more time to sort of really step into that next gear and really push each other to the limits. This wasn't necessarily a squash match, but it felt like it could have been, potentially. Like, I really just wish this had gone that little bit more longer. Emerson Jane picked up the win, and Emerson Jane, at the end of the match, the referee hands her a red envelope containing a golden ticket. She is the one who is going to be facing Lana Austin at Vendetta 2. Yeah, that'll be really, really fun, because both women are great. So this was an enjoyable match. I just feel like it needed more time. Then it looks like we're going to get the main event, as Simon is about to announce it. But who should interrupt but Gene Money? Gene Money, who was eyeing Simon Miller towards the end of his match as he made his way to the back. He comes back out with Martina and Will Cruz, and God, insane. It just the choice of words is just insane. A gaping anus is something that I feel like I never want to hear again in pro wrestling, but G Money said it. And he challenges Simon Miller for the Proteus Championship. He's bitter that he's been here this long and not won a title, and Simon's been here for, to quote like Chapel Roan, a damn hot minute. And yeah, Simon cuts a really cool promo. There's a lot of virgin talk here. A lot of virgin having sex and stuff like that. A lot of like, I'm like, what is going on right now? But Simon Miller reveals that his stipulation doesn't just count to polls, it counts for in the arenas as well. And he says, who wants to see me face Gene Money? And people cheer. Who wants to see me face all three of them? I think, like, this was, I get what he was going for, but I think it made it sound like it was going to be a handicap match. And people were like, I don't think that's a good idea, yeah? But then, smarter than us, obviously, he reveals that it will be a fatal four-way match between Simon Miller, G-Money, Session Moth, and Will Cruz at Vendetta II. I think that has all the makings to be one of the funniest matches, one of the best matches of the night. I cannot wait to see that. And also, I want to talk about Simon Miller's spear for a second, because G-Money he goes to run down, Simon's talking to the crowd, and as G-Money goes to hit an Ainsley Lariat, Simon turns and spears him with a great spear. It was a fantastic spear. Awesome segment. I thought this was really, really good. This was like pure pro wrestling promo goodness. And then we have the main event. The main event, Boisterous Behaviour, Leon Slater and Man Like DeReiss versus the Progress World Champion Luke Jacobs and Ethan Allen, the Young Guns. This match was a certified, unbelievable banger. Like, this was everything you wanted it to be and more, really. Like, seeing this live, there were bits that I missed because there was so much going on. It started off with an insane brawl around the ring. Just slaps, chops, big boots, leg lariats from everyone. Everyone was getting absolutely battered. And then some chairs were cleared. DeReiss hits a rolling senton onto Luke Jacobs through some chairs. At the same time, this is the bit that I missed. So I presume this happened. I haven't seen video footage, but I presume this happened. Leon Slater hits like his running over the ring post sort of tope to Ethan Allen, and just the crowd just erupted. Everyone was so unbelievably hot for this match. And the near falls. This was basically a series of like hot tags where everyone sort of got to shine. DeReiss got a hot tag, then Jacobs got a hot tag, then Leon Slater got a hot tag, then Ethan Allen made the save. It was like a series of just insane sequences where everyone got to shine. I really like Ethan Allen. I've not seen much of Ethan Allen, but I goddamn really, really like him. His style just reminds me of Kyle O'Reilly, and pairing him with Luke Jacobs, who is a bit more of a bruiser, I think they're incredible together. And obviously Leon Slater and Man Like DeReiss are fantastic. We know they are, but this just kept escalating to the point where the near falls for this match were off the chain levels of good. Particularly, it was like a doomsday device from the Young Guns, and DeReiss kicked out. I was like, this is awesome. And then one of the story points in this match, one of the key story beats that I really liked, was just they were inflicting so much punishment on each other. They were just down. Like, there were numerous points where everyone was down because so much had been inflicted to one another in this match. I was like, this feels like an absolute war. An absolute war. And the finish, I really liked. I think this is really interesting. Really interesting stuff. Hope I'm not looking too much into it, but this is what we're here to do. We're here to overanalyze. So, what happened was, the Progress Championship is in the ring because the ref has taken a big old bump, and it looks like sort of Luke's going to use it on DeReiss. But he doesn't. He misses. Looks like he's going to hit Ethan Allen, but he doesn't. Ethan Allen gets taken out. Then we have the Progress Championship in the ring. Leon Slater picks it up, and he sort of looks at it as if he's going to use it himself. DeReiss steals the title from him and clocks Luke Jacobs with it. Absolutely clocks him. He's near enough out. Leon Slater hits his Swanton 450 and gets the win. Now, I think this is very interesting because are we seeing a potential DeReiss heel turn? I think it's interesting. You can either look at this as sort of comeuppance, and because Luke Jacobs obviously cheated to retain his title against Doris. The more interesting part about this to me is Leon Slater getting the pin. Leon Slater being the one to pin Luke Jacobs, the Progress World Champion, who Doris was unable to do that to. I think that could cause some tension in Boisterous Behaviour. I think we could potentially lead to a Leon Slater, man like Doris, Luke Jacobs triple threat match. I think that'd be really cool, and that'd have really good character sort of interaction within there. I love the potential of this. Like, the match itself was awesome, but I came out thinking, I love the way these characters are interacting right now. Doris and Slater, and Luke sort of being... This sort of pays off on what happened at the end of Wrestling Never Sleeps, when Luke had all these contenders. What are they going to do when they're both contenders? Slater and Doris. Doris is willing to hit Jacobs with the belt. Is Slater prepared to do the same? There's so many different questions coming out of this that I find so intriguing and so fascinating. And them winning, pinning Luke, I think was the right move. I really think it was the right move. Like, you have this unstoppable force in Luke Jacobs, and he's been put away by the number one contender's friend. Awesome. Really awesome. This is one of the best matches of the year. It was long. It was brutal. It was everything you could want out of a wrestling main event. And I can't wait to see where we go from here. I think Vendetta is going to be absolutely fantastic. So overall, for Stay Young and Invincible, being there live, something else. Watching pro wrestling live is just something else. But overall, I'd give this a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed my time with this. It wasn't too long. It didn't drag. It was just a perfect wrestling show with 2 incredible matches on the card. And yeah, go out of your way to check those out. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Were you a fan? Were you not? Let me know, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.